This is Things Police See, First-Hand Accounts, with your host, Steve Gold.
Welcome to Cops in the News, where we talk about law enforcement news stories as reported to us by the always reliable, trustworthy, and honest news media. My co-host returning to the show, the handsome, the venerable Ken Roybal. Ken, hello.
Ken Roybal.
K-Royb's host and purveyor of the Police Applicant Podcast. Thank you for being here.
It's almost my pleasure. When you told me, you said, Ken, do you want to be on the show? And I'm like, dude, this is the most exciting thing in the world to do. So I'm like, yes, I do.
Such an honor. Oh, I had a cancellation, and then this morning, and I thought, man, I want to do something. Maybe Ken would be down for a little CITN old school style.
Yeah.
Because you're pretty busy now. You're going on news channels now as a vetted expert.
Well, I have 8x10 glossies if you need any for your fans,
I'd love a signed one. Absolutely. No, that was really cool, man. It popped up on your Instagram, and I was like, let's get, because I don't have like cable or the news or anything, and I don't live in LA, but Fox LA had you on talking about the issues going on with LAPD and the constant issues going on. But yeah, you've been an expert in the field of backgrounds for quite some time. I think you've testified in court, the whole deal.
Yeah, I know a thing or two. So when they have something either hiring or background related, they give me a call. I'm not on the news all the time, but they'll call and say, hey, what do you know about this? I'm like, I have nothing. So, but there's always stuff going on with LAPD or like that. Yeah. So it was fun.
Yeah. Now that they have your name and like you're on the line, it's going to be like more often, because they're going to be like, well, we're not going to have to search for somebody. We have Ken. Just call him. What? Ken, tell us what to do.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. I had a good time, and it was exciting to do.
I love it. Ken, one message I really want to get out on this podcast / live that we're doing is if you want to be a guest on Things Police See, please write an email to steve@thingspolicesee.com or go on thingspolicesee.com, the website, and contact me there. Because, Ken, I need to feed the beast. I constantly need coppers stepping up to do it, to come on. You know what? If you're a cop, I know for a fact thousands of cops listen to the show, and I know you want to come on. I know you're thinking about it. You have the war stories. You want to do it. Don't worry about it, because I can blur your face. We can use a pseudonym. You can be completely anonymous. And besides that, Ken, a lot of PDs like the exposure now for humanizing police, right? It's a good thing.
Yeah, I get contacted by people, by police departments, usually recruitment, background investigators that want to be on my podcast. And it's becoming more and more commonplace for police departments and want to be on podcasts. And on your podcast, what officer wouldn't want to be on Things Police See podcast?
Come on,
I've been on the podcast.
Yeah, you've been on more than anybody, I think. I need you guys to come on. I don't have the stories myself, so I need to extract them from you. I need your story juice.
So if you want to be on Steve's show, get a hold of him, man. He's got the war stories, and you got the war stories, and if you want, what is it, like 1 million people have downloaded your podcast, man?
We're up to 1.35 million.
Golly.
Which is so cool. I never thought I'd have that many downloads.
I'm right behind you.
You're right there. I know it. I know. Yeah. Well, now that you're kind of, I'm sitting here on the East Coast and I'm watching you get on the news, and I'm like, pretty soon Ken's going to be like, not taking my calls. It's going to be like an agent I'm talking to. I'm like, can I just talk to Ken? Mr. Roybal's busy. He'd love to do your podcast, but he doesn't have time.
I'm going to go on the news. They're going to ask me a question. I go, can I call my lifeline? Steve? Yeah.
Oh, I can make anything up. I can come up with all kinds of answers. No problem. Ken, before we get into the stories, and I will admit that, we did kind of haphazardly throw this episode together, but the stories I think are really fun. And there's a breakdown in there of a shooting I want your commentary on, being an old school copper. You've already commented to me that your comments will be 10 seconds long. But I know you also have a discerning eye for use of force and all those things. So it'll be interesting to watch. It happened in January. And then some other fun stories that came up. And of course, we're going to talk about the dreamers that are becoming cops in LA. They can't have their guns off duty. 23andMe being hacked. What's the deal with the Roman Empire? And also an Australian lady who seemingly murdered her extended family. So there's a lot of great stories in there. I think it's going to be really fun. But before I get to those, I want to take a moment to talk to you about officerprivacy.com. Take your privacy back online, folks. It's a crazy world out there, Ken, especially for police officers. This isn't the 70s or the 80s. When my dad was a cop, all you had to do was call the phone company and say, "Unlist me." And that was like the dead end. It was like, he's unlisted. I can't find the guy. It's not like that anymore. A really like lazy Google search can find you online. And with the climate out there with police interactions, it's super easy to go viral in a really bad way. And it's really easy for some loser to just Google search you and bam, your stuff comes up because there's all these major databases that collect our info and disseminate it to whoever is querying for it. So officerprivacy.com is law enforcement owned, operated, fantastic customer service. I've used the service. It is very satisfying when they send you the list of all the major databases that collect our data and you are no longer on them. They keep an eye on it. If you want to do this by yourself, I guess seemingly you could do it, but it would be a really arduous task. So I love the service. It's really great. And for probably like 4 hours of overtime, you can have them have your back and take your stuff off the internet so you can't be easily found. I mean, everything's on there, Ken, like first name, last name, address, date of birth, social security number. In some cases, organizations you belong to, gun clubs, churches. Like it's really, really gross how easily we can be accessed. So I think it's a great idea and a great product. And yeah, go check them out. It's officerprivacy.com/TPS, or click the link in the show notes of this episode on both the podcast and YouTube, and you will be taken there. So that's a sponsor. Fantastic company.
Yeah, good company. I know them well. And there was a big news story that came out. Mutual friend of ours, married to a Border Patrol agent. There was a big notice that came out from Border Patrol. They were last week with that day of jihad or whatever it is. And
right.
Somebody went on there and said, we'll give you money for how many addresses you have for Border Patrol agents and home addresses and their families and things like that.
I saw that.
And I can't overemphasize the fact that it's not just that, it's police supporters. It's anybody that wants to scrub their information. If you Google your own, I Googled my name and my cell phone came up.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like, where do they get this stuff from? So yeah. So if you have a company that's going to do it for you, that's what I would do.
When I did insurance investigations for a couple of years, it was like so many shocked people when I showed up on their front door and they thought they disappeared. But it's all out there. Like you can get a list of like 10 different cell phones somebody's had and you just go to the bottom. Oh, there's the newest one and you can find them. So it's a scary world. Ken, the first one, you know what, guys, I'm telling Ken earlier, I have fruit flies all around my head because I'm a piggy. I operate in the corner of my basement. Nice basement. It's semi-finished, but over the last 2 years, I've had the same trash bag where usually when I do the podcast, I don't have a drinking problem, all right? But I will have a couple beers during the podcast and I just throw them in the bag. So over 2 years, it became full. And as of today, I'd never emptied it. And there's never been a problem. But all of a sudden, I'm like trying to talk. I'm trying to set up the podcast. And I'm getting like little bugs in my mouth, like flying into my eyes, those little fruit flies, you know? So if you see me swatting at the air, that's what's happening. The garbage has been removed, but the problem persists.
And I just want to say, before we came on the show, Steve mentioned nothing about fruit flies, and he was just abstractly just doing like this, and then he would turn and say words, and so that's my side of the story. But,
right, I've totally lost it. This isn't even going out, Ken. It's not even recorded. I'm just talking with you in my basement.
Abel Pargas here, retired LAPD.
All right.
Hey,
Abel.
LT, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
Oh, an LT. I love it.
Yeah.
So, Ken, this is video footage from January this year. It's a female deputy sheriff who gets sent out to a call for a vagrant, a homeless person that won't leave the property in Santa Clarita. I think they're like their little town center mall thing they have. And I just I want to look at it and see what you think about what she did, what she could have done, because I think she could have done a lot more to have prevented this, even though the guy is an a-hole. So let's watch part of it.
Okay.
Sheriff Station, Deputy Davenport, how can I help you?
Hello. Calling from the West Valencia Mall. Just calling because we basically have this transient who was causing issues at first, but we found him sleeping in front of these. We tried talking to him, let him know, it's private property, you can't sleep here, but he does not want to leave at all. Like, he just basically wants to start a fight whenever we go up to him, try to make him leave. Can't go.
Do you want us to come there and trespass him?
Yeah, basically, like, just to come down here and just make him leave property, because whenever we try to talk to him, he just gets really irate and just basically just says, the only way I'm going to get out of here is if I put one of you in a chokehold, stuff like that.
All right, what's your address here?
Here's a deputy showing up. The audio is muted for the first 30 seconds. She's just getting out of her car and approaching.
Yeah, I think they work one-man cars there, and she showed up by herself.
Yeah, it's a pretty populated area. Kind of surprised the guy's approaching now. He's got a big scruffy beard and an army like windbreaker on. Older guy, maybe in his late 50s. She's hand motioning out to him, like trying to talk with him. Audio will kick in 1, 0 now.
What's your date of birth? Okay. So look, I'm just coming over because the security for the mall.
Yeah, I'm not going to move at all. I will actually kill every fucker that comes here.
Okay, well, we don't want that. Okay?
I don't care.
Okay.
That's what I'm where I'm at.
Look, I'm just trying to talk to you, okay?
Okay, I'm going to sleep right here so you can do what you want to do.
Okay.
You either protect and defend or I'm going to fucking destroy your fucking human being. Understand?
I understand, but why are you coming at me like that?
Well, I'm just letting you know.
And I'm just letting you know too, okay?
Don't tell me what to do at all.
I'm not letting you know. I'm not telling you what to do.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know what security has advised us. Okay?
I am security for the whole country.
Okay.
You want Iran and China to fucking bust your nut or what?
No, not at all.
Well, I'm
Did
the
I
guy.
say that?
Listen to me.
Did I say that?
Just listen.
No, I'm telling you right
Listen
now.
to
no,
what-
No, we're not doing
You know
that.
what?
Hey, you better step back, dude.
So, Ken, at this point, to me, you know you're dealing with a crazy person, right? They're not like the things he said so far. So for me, even as a male cop who maybe could take this guy, I'm gonna let him talk, and I'm not gonna start poking at him because I have no backup. You know what I mean? Backup can come. You know that they have backup in this area. I think from this point on, she does a bad job of just. He's not. Doesn't have a weapon. He's not threatening anybody right now besides her. I think she could easily have just kind of take a couple steps back, get back up, and then grab the guy. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, as soon as you know he's crazy, he's talking crazy talk, right? And he says he's going to kill everybody that comes in over there. That right there would make me get on edge, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere near him, because if a crazy person tells you that they're going to kill you, they're probably wanting to do that, and it doesn't bother them. I would not be as close. Putting your hand up, that's just probably. I mean, the least that she could do. I haven't heard her. I haven't heard her call for backup yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Least she could do is just push the guy. As soon as he advances on her, push the guy away. I don't know. Get your taser, get your mace, whatever you got, and just get the distance. That's where I'm at right now with this.
Absolutely.
Step back.
I'm gonna fuck your ass up,
Okay,
bitch.
you better step back right
there's
now.
a
Get the
Steve.
fuck out of here
Step
now!
back.
And
Step
she
back.
pokes him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight. I'm
Here
gonna
we
fight.
go.
Let's do it. Let's fight.
Now she's
Get off
asking
me.
for a backup.
Get off me.
Fuck you, nigger.
If you come any closer, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna shoot you, dude.
I'm gonna
I'm
fucking
gonna shoot
human being
you.
up.
I'm gonna shoot. 6'2"
Get the
fight.
fuck out of here
gunpoint.
now.
Get up. Stop. You don't
Get the
stop.
fuck
I'm gonna
outta
shoot
here.
you. I'm gonna shoot you, dude.
Shoot.
Get off me. Get up. Get up. Stop.
So when I took defensive tactics initially in Academy and then all the updates we get, there is a caveat legally for women officers if they're of smaller stature, or even male officers if they're much, much smaller, to escalate more quickly or skip uses of force. For me, in this situation, I'm not really seeing that. She's tried nothing else. Pepper, baton, taser, she has all those things, and she skips it and jumps right up to lethal force. What do you think, Ken? Ken? Oh, no. There you are.
There, I'm back.
You're
I think I
back.
cut out there for a minute.
Yeah. Did you hear me?
I heard you say baton, and then I got lost.
Yeah, there's just a lot of different uses of forces you could choose from to at least try and ditch and then escalate. But she doesn't try any of them. She goes right to the gun. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that there's supposed to be a use of force. What do they call it? What do they
Continuum?
What do the kids call it now? where you have to have a use of force ladder as far as you go from 1 to 10 or something like that. But the thing is, though, she immediately went for the gun. The guy showed no weapons or anything like that. I don't know if they carry tasers. I don't know if she has OC spray. Was it OC spray or what is it now?
Yeah, OC, baton, taser, she has all those things.
Yeah, all that. The biggest thing she could have done initially, like I was saying, was when he threatened her, she should have pushed him down and got away, got the backup, and now she's in emergency mode. Use of force scale. There it is. Escalation use of force. And now she's in hyper emergency mode to get back up there, when she should have probably thought ahead of time. And the thing is, though, if there's areas where you don't deal with this stuff a lot, where you don't go hands-on with people a lot, or you don't have the experience, it's easy to get caught off guard, right?
Yeah, male or female, if you've never been in like fisticuffs, that alone could scare you. Like, I'm going to have to fight this guy. I don't know if I can fight. You know what I mean? Like that alone can make you escalate. She seems to have, I think too, what we're seeing a little bit is she's got some ego. Like she's not, because to back off, like you were saying, create some distance and kind of reassess, wait for backup, keep the pressure keep the lid on the pressure cooker a little bit until it's time to, take care of them. It's time to poke the bear. She seems to have a little bit of an ego. Like she's not willing to do that. She thinks, here I am, this guy's not complying. So, start complying or forget the force continuum. It's just going to be bullet holes. So you'll see when I think it's a supervisor shows up, he's like, you can tell he's kind of like, what?
Stop moving! I'm gonna continue to shoot you. Stop!
The guy just goes back to his mat and lies down. Two bullets in him.
Shots fired.
He shot a couple times right now, right?
Yep.
Fired. From your location.
Okay.
In front of lower level. Suspect down.
In front of
Stop. Do not move. Not move. Do not move.
He's just moaning.
Boom.
This is start responding.
I'm at the lower level next to the parking lot. Closest to the
Here's back up.
Okay. Relax, breathe. Hey, can you hear me? Shots fired?
Yeah, I shot him
998?
twice. Yes.
Does he have a gun?
But he does not have a gun. I did not see anything on him. I said
Only one suspect?
only one.
Let's see if that's affirmed. Go ahead and roll 902R. One suspect down. No outstanding.
You want me to?
Just stand by. Hold on. What did he have? A gun or a knife?
He just came at me. He started hitting me really bad, and I went down.
See right there, she says he started hitting me really badly, and I went down. She never went down, and he never really hit you that badly either.
I didn't remember him really touching her.
He just impish, you know. He's a out of shape, older homeless guy. He kind of threw his right wing at her, but it's like there was no real threat of serious bodily injury there. You know.
Yeah, that was an easy push down. And then the guy, the backup, he goes, "Did he have a gun?" And she,
gun or a knife, gun or a knife.
And then he goes, "Gun or a knife?" And she's like, he said bad words to me. I don't know what the heck.
Right.
But there wasn't.
He scared the piss out of her is what happened.
Yeah. And that's I don't know, man. And then if you look at the shooting part of it, she shot him. And then he was kind of stunned there for a minute. He was standing there, and I don't know if he was lunging forward or something like that, but she shot him again. But I didn't see any movement advancing toward her when she shot him again.
Right.
Okay, just relax. It's fine. Just relax. Breathe. Holster your gun.
And for the watchman, are confirming all the things accounted for?
70-24.
10-4.
Sir! Where'd you shoot him?
The chest area.
The chest?
Chest. On the left side.
What is she doing?
Okay.
She's kind of just taking herself out. She's not.
See, at least take him into custody.
Can I help you?
Steve, I feel bad.
Does
for
he have
her.
any weapons?
No.
She's in a state. She's in a state of shock. She is. She's
Yeah.
she's checked out.
But
And I don't know how new she is either. Maybe she's brand new, Ken. I don't know, but she's gone.
I'm just of the opinion you can't. You know, when the stuff gets real like this, you need to have the presence of mind to do your job. And I'm not feeling like she's just I don't know what to do. You get the guy into custody, man. That's what comes next, and then the ambulance comes and blah blah blah. But she's standing there like she's in shock, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, cuff them up and render aid. That's a huge thing. If your department's on the line if you don't render aid.
Sir! He's still breathing. Sir!
It's weird because I can't tell
Where'd you
where
shoot
she
him?
shot him.
Where's he shot?
That's somewhere on the chest area.
Chest.
Somewhere in the chest, like upper chest on the left side.
Do you have shears?
Yeah, right there.
Okay, here we go.
So it's just showing their initial cruiser approach here from the security camera. See if we can.
Here now!
Step back, Grace. Fuck. I'm gonna fight. Stick to it, then fight. Get off me.
See, does
Get
have
off
his
me.
hands on her.
Yeah.
If you come any closer, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna shoot you, dude.
I'm gonna
I'm
fuck
gonna
your
shoot you.
human being up.
I'm gonna shoot. 6-2,
Get
then
the
fight.
fuck
Hold
out
it
of here
gunpoint.
now!
Get up. Stop. You don't
Get the
stop.
fuck
I'm gonna
outta
shoot
here.
you. I'm gonna shoot you, dude.
Shoot!
Get off me. Get up. Get up. Stop. Stop moving. I'm gonna continue to shoot you. Stop.
Then the dude just walks back to his little nest area there. But yeah, it's hard to watch because it's she was ill equipped. She wasn't ready for it. You know, she wasn't. She didn't. She obviously doesn't think she can do anything but shoot him, and that's not a good. Especially now, that's not a good place to be. Like if you're feeling like that, then you should not be doing the job. Like you can't just go to your gun and shoot people because they're, you know, unarmed. I mean, and this case too got like, no coverage, really.
No.
This is like, I mean, she shot an unarmed guy that like shoved her, and he went over his mat and died. I mean, I think we know why probably this didn't get much coverage because nobody cares because the demographics of this shooting were not what the media likes. But, you know, flip some things around, change some things in the scenario. This is a huge case, you know?
Yeah. And not every confrontation has to be, oh, well, you're challenging me. Now I'm going to go, you know, mano a mano with you. It's like she could have outrun that guy easily or gotten away, created some distance easily.
Right. He very much looked like the way he was like standing. It's like he was kind of like protecting his area. And if she had just backed up further, he probably would have just reset and gone back to his mat, which, you know, you never want to do that as a cop. But hey, if you feel like you're ill-equipped to deal with someone physically and there's an out without shooting them, maybe you want to take that route because there's no one around. The place is closed. No one's in danger here. There's no public walking around. He's not armed. You could easily, like you've been saying, create some distance, wait for backup, reassess, get the bad guy. That's totally normal. Yeah.
And Abel used to be a supervisor in LAPD. I'm kind of curious what his take on this is, but is there any follow up on the deputy? Did anything happen with her?
I looked for it. And like I said, there's just not much. There's there's the final thing from the sheriff's office of like, we're investigating this we released the video but every article I could find, they just stated the facts, just the facts, ma'am. Boom, boom, boom. He assaulted her. He wouldn't back away from her. Almost like she had no other choice but to shoot him. Then the articles I saw were very, pro her. They didn't really criticize him at all. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's just weird to see it when we're used to like the opposite. You know what I mean? And now cops are looking at this and going, "Whoa, there's some problems here. There's some real problems."
Yeah.
Abel says, "Deep number sign, money sign."
That's his professional supervisor opinion. We are in trouble. Yeah, I usually try not to criticize cops, you know, because I wasn't there and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just going strictly by the video. I don't know what was in her mind, but I'm not sure I'd be comfortable with that shooting.
Yeah, it's a little rough, you know. And I know people like bigger channels have kind of looked at this, but it just popped up in my feed and I watched it and I was like. I watched it for the first time. I was like, I've never seen this. I never even heard about this. Well, yeah. And I'm not on a lot, but have you seen this one before?
Oh yeah, this is from 2021, 2022.
Oh, it's that old? I thought it was from this January.
Yeah. No. Oh, was it? Maybe.
I think that's what it said. Is there a date on this freaking thing? Oh, hold on. All right, I'm not going to mess with that video. I think, yeah. Well, maybe it is, but yeah, I was like, wow, I haven't heard. And then, like I said, I try to find the outcome. I want to know like what the outcome is. Is she good? Is it a good shoot? Is this okay for is this okay for cops to do? You get threatened and someone comes towards you, you can shoot them? Is this the new standard in California? Because it doesn't seem like it.
In California, words are violence.
That's true.
So if that's the case, then yes.
I thought I heard her misgender him there, probably.
She'd probably get in more trouble for that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Ken, the next one we have, and you have some good insight on this one, is kind of caught my eye. Some UK police put down guns after an officer is charged with murder in the shooting of a black man. Well, if we did that in America, none of us would be armed.
No.
Because the whole movement of charging cops with murder is like, it's normal now, but it's still bizarre to me. It's like, really? You just straight up charge cops with murder now before the investigation's even complete. It seems crazy, and it's not surprising that Britain is doing it. But they don't have, a lot of their cops aren't armed, but like in London or the suburbs of London, like this place, they are armed because it's a very violent place. There's a lot of violent armed criminals. This young man, his name was Chris Kaba. member of the rap group 6-7, shot dead by police in Streatham Hill, London, England, on September 5th, 2022. On the day of the shooting, an unmarked vehicle followed the car Cabo was driving, which had been linked to a firearms incident the previous day, until it met a police roadblock. Armed police who had been in marked cars approached on foot. Witnesses said that Cabo refused to leave the car and drove it into one of the police cars. One of the armed officers fired a single round at Cabo through the, they say windshield, England. Come on. I took this from an English paper. He was taken to the hospital, died of his injuries the following day. They began an investigation into the shooting. In September 2023, a police officer was charged with his murder. Now, a little background on Cabo. If you're thinking he's a sweet angel, you'd be wrong. He'd been charged in 2018 with possessing an imitation firearm with intent to cause fear of violence. In relation to an incident on December 30th, 2017, he was found guilty at Snaresbrook Crown Court on January 2019, sentenced to 4 years in Young Offenders Institute, released 2021. Months following his death, 6 men were charged with conspiring with Cabo to commit murder and grievous bodily harm. The charges relate to a shooting which took place in the Tower Hamlets on the 30th of August, 2022, days before Cabo was shot by the police. And he was a member of the 6-7 rap gang. So, more than 100 officers have turned in their firearm permits, and they're having to have police agencies from the neighboring areas come in to help patrol London. The force still has significant firearms capability, but had to ask the Ministry of Defense to provide assistance with counterterrorism support should it be needed. So it doesn't sound like they have adequate defense if you're calling in all these other places and the big government agencies to help you. So this is just a little taste of what we deal with all the time. And I guess, Ken, in England, you can give up your authority to carry a gun as a cop, because in the United States you can't be a cop. But there you're like, I'm not going to carry the gun anymore. This is a bad idea. Here's my permit back. I'm hitting patrol without it.
Yeah, I have a buddy that works at they call it the Met. I think is what they call it, the Metropolitan London
That's the big
Police.
one, yeah. Yep.
And he was telling me that these because you have to I think you have to volunteer for this unit that carries guns, and you got to go through training, you got to be certified and all this kind of stuff.
Sure.
So what if you don't want to do it anymore? What if you were afraid that if you used your firearm, they could file on you for shooting somebody
with murder?
And so they don't. It's not an assignment like on American police where everybody has to carry a gun. You can't just go as a police officer in America and go, I don't think I want to carry a gun anymore. Yeah, then you can't be a cop. In the UK or Great Britain, if you don't want to be armed, or you don't want to do like this, and so I think a lot of them. I don't know. What I was hearing is I don't necessarily think it was in protest. I think they were saying, "Oh, screw this. This is not. If you're not going to cover me if I use this firearm,
right?
Forget that."
Yeah, I think a lot of American cops have had the same thought because there's a mass exodus going on.
Yeah,
where it's like, you're going to charge me with murder for a split-second decision, and not a great guy either. He got shot and killed for not obeying police and ramming a police car.
Yeah,
and connected to a murder. Like, he's not like a good person. It's like, it's unbelievable.
Did they post pictures of him in his rugby outfit, and that he was going to be going to college, and his picture of him in his rugby? That's the way they would do it.
There is counter like the newspaper pictures that they put up are a lot. I grabbed this one myself off of like one of his rap like affiliation websites, but they're let me see. Hold on, let me use the Google machine. Chris Cabo,
the Google machine,
Mr. Google Pants.
If it was America, he'd be in his football uniform.
Here's the one the paper used.
Oh, see How nice.
Yeah, he's got a little heart on his shirt.
Such a little heart on his shirt, and
Big
he
smile.
was murdered by this police officer. Why you would ram your car into a police car? I don't think that's a good idea. It's never a good idea to do. And then at the end of one of the articles that you sent, they did mention he had an apprenticeship to become an architect.
Yes, that is so weird.
Snuffed out. What does that have to do with it?
It's just funny, like, because it's very British to me. I'm like, even the gangsters out there are journeymen. They're working on their degrees, but they're mixing it up in the street.
Yeah,
it's too funny. Apprenticeship.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I just think that these UK officers, they deal with a lot of knife attacks there. They have, in the UK, in London at least, they have these things where you can drop your knives in.
Knife boxes, I've seen them.
You can voluntarily surrender your knife.
They're filled with like butcher's knives and like steak knives and.
What the heck?
Yeah.
So this is an odd thing to have someone shot, and then if you do shoot somebody, murder charges.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No,
I don't blame the coppers there at all. Ken, the next one is one near and dear to your heart. It's the DACA coppers in LA that they're wanting to use so people who are not U.S. citizens. And correct me if I'm wrong, they have used you only need a green card in LA to be a cop, right?
In the United States, I don't even know what all the particulars are, but you can be authorized to work in the United States. Is it a green card or some kind of other thing? But you can legally work. What do you call a resident alien or something? I don't know what the heck.
Somebody told me that in backgrounds, like not a cop, but like somebody on the civilian side was like, oh yeah, if they have a green card, they can apply to be a police officer. They never said they could be one, but they said, yeah, they can apply. And I was like, really?
When you were at Backgrounds, when we both were at Backgrounds, you could have applied for your citizenship, be hired, and then you had to have gotten your citizenship within like 2 years or something like that. So you had to be pretty deep in the process for citizenship in order to apply.
Okay.
And if you weren't, you couldn't apply. Then California and these other states, they came up with this thing where if you were legally entitled to work in the United States, hey, you could be a cop. And that's what's going on.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm going to cut to the footage, and you might recognize this handsome young man in this clip.
LAPD, before they hired them, they should have known that this was going to happen.
The LAPD finds itself in a conundrum. 2 of their newest recruit officers are DACA recipients, also known as Dreamers. California passed a law allowing non-citizens to become police officers. But as retired LAPD background investigator Ken Roybal explains,
there he is.
There is a significant federal problem with that.
They kind of back themselves into a corner because federal law dictates that the DACA recipients, although eligible to work in the United States legally or in California, they can't take
footage of Ken at his house.
They can't possess guns. They can't buy ammo. And so they're not police officers, technically armed police officers when they go home.
Our inside sources say the department is working to fix this problem, but they confirm the new DACA hires will only be able to have their LAPD-issued guns while at work, and they will not be able to purchase any ammunition.
If a police officer cannot take his gun home, isn't that problematic? I mean, it could be a safety issue.
It's an officer safety issue. It's a big officer safety issue because when an officer goes home, they leave a station, you drive out of the station. With the identities of police officers getting out nowadays, they aren't armed and they will not be able to protect themselves, even at home.
We contacted LAPD Chief Michael Moore for comment, and while he initially said he would address this issue with us, Chief Moore did not get back to us in time for the story. The LA Police Protective League chose not to comment, but LAPD Detective Jamie McBride, also an LAPPL director, issued a personal statement that says in part, "I would be very concerned with allowing non-citizens to have the ability to arrest U.S. citizens. That doesn't even sound right." And the LAPD also wants to provide firearms to these non-citizens in violation of federal law.
So how do you think this is going to be resolved?
There's absolutely no way to resolve it because they're not going to change the federal laws.
Job well done, sir. I'd love to see it. Yeah, I mean,
don't think they. Oh, go ahead.
I would say that's a great point he said was it's like just on a base level, it doesn't make sense to have people who are not U.S. citizens taking your freedom away. It's like, say what?
Well, when you get stopped by the cops and you say, "Am I free to go?" and they say no, they're suspending your constitutional rights. You don't have the freedom to move around and to leave and all this kind of stuff. So here we have, this is another thing Jamie McBride was talking about. You can be stopped by a DACA kid and have your civil rights suspended by someone who is not a citizen. And because of that, they don't have a constitutional right to possess a firearm. They can't own guns. This is the way to go, LAPD. They got 2 people in the academy, DACA people.
How has LAPD simultaneously been like a badass agency all these years, but also had so many issues like this? Like it was like LA and New York were like the places, especially LA though, because of just the whole aura of the place. LAPD doing so much without as many cops as they should have. The uniforms, the polish, the strict academy, the discipline. How have they existed? So it's like they've always been fighting against something like this. It's always something beating LAPD down, and I feel like it's starting to get to the department, like they're cracking.
Yeah, LAPD has gone soft in the command officer side. The person I blame, starting with Chief Beck before Chief Moore and now Michael Moore. Michael Moore is soft. He's a politician. He's a puppet. If they zoomed out of a news conference that he was in, you could see someone's hand up his butt, pulling the little string thing and making his mouth move, because he's just a puppet and he's just everything that's soft. You know, and the cops are still badass. The LAPD cops are still badasses. They're hard charging cops, but a lot of them don't want to do police work.
Yeah, that was kind of going on at LAPD when I was there in backgrounds. I remember hearing from the guys in uniform that they were getting hard chargers that wanted to rip cars and get gangsters and all that, and they were being told straight up by the captain, like, knock it off.
Yeah.
We don't want that kind of police work.
It's not only that. So say they're afraid, in the field, they take a complaint for everything. Everything gets a complaint. If someone says I want to complain, then not only that, then they have these random audits of body-worn cameras. So if nobody complains, they could still catch you on using a bad word. You called someone a bad word, or you cussed during some kind of stop. So you've got that to worry about. And then Chief Moore just approved this AI thing where this AI would go through thousands of hours of body-worn camera footage, and the AI would pick out if the officer did something wrong, including an officer's tone in their voice. The AI would pick that out. And
that's brutal. I mean, is there not a time in police work when you need to have a tone? You need to use swears. You need to get to that street person by talking their language, giving them the threats they need to hear. Isn't that not part of it?
Well, yeah. And what is tone? What is tone? Like being sarcastic? Or is that tone? And then are you going to be picked out now for, some random robot? And the thing about this, get this AI company that's running this AI monitoring system, they are an anti-cop group that has already been in the news for their anti-cop biases. That their whole thing is they're anti-police activists. The company is, and
cool.
So who do you hire for that? Chief Moore hires this company to do this. What is wrong with him, man?
What the heck? Ken, I saw a great video online that this woman said that her husband works for ChatGPT, or he's one of the engineers that helps do the codes. And she said that the most hilarious part of the whole thing is that if left alone, AI becomes incredibly conservative. So because it's common sense. So they have to build algorithms to push AI towards the center or left. They can't leave AI just to learn on its own because it will become a Republican.
Because it's too logical. The AI would
Yeah.
go, oh, that's stupid. My
I
gosh,
thought that was hilarious. It just makes sense. Geez, man. Well, like we were talking the other day, we were reminiscing, Ken and I, about the little stint I had there at Backgrounds, and man, what a great time for me in my life. I got to meet Ken and all these guys, Pat Buchanan, Dave Escoto, and J.J. Williams, and Jay Moberly. Oh my gosh. I mean, so many guys were just Rob McCreary. I could go on, but it was just great. It was like you guys took me under your wing. You're like, hey, this little small town cop from the East Coast. We go get tacos. You hold my parasol so I wouldn't get burned. And but you guys would whisper in my ear like, the ship's going down. This ain't gonna last forever. Man, it was a great time being there with those folks, but it was tough too to listen to the coppers that were working be like, oh yeah, the name of the game now is like they don't want you doing stuff, so it's like you get in, you got to get a specialty, you got to get to detectives or backgrounds or dignitary, like the Met cops who are the high end cops who are the guarded people, and celebrity escort, or you just needed to get off the road because it was not, your efforts were not welcome. It was like, damn, really? I thought you guys were ass kickers. They're like, those days are over.
No.
And LA, the citizens of LA need a serious ass kicking. I can tell you that.
Well, they got a mayor in there who's proven herself to be anti-cop, and they got a chief in there who's soft, and he's so supple. He's like, you could touch him and you're just like,
yeah.
Oh, he's just, and he doesn't care. He does not give one care about the cops or how he doesn't care about his reputation. And everybody I've talked to hates him. Nobody, I'll rail against Michael Moore on Instagram a lot. And,
he sees it because you've been on the news opposing him in videos. So he knows who you are and he sees you doing it.
He knows I do it, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's just going to get his money. He's going to take off.
Right. All right, Ken. Next story. Listen, Ken's a busy man. He's actually got his own live going on in a couple hours, so we have to get through these stories. A quick one for you, Ken, from law enforcement today. 23andMe's database was hacked and what appears to be targeted on Ashkenazi Jewish users. It's funny. I never noticed that Ashkenazi has Nazi. Has Nazi in the word.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, so 23andMe for me, when I started hearing, believe it or not, when I started hearing law enforcement was using it, I was like, okay, well, I've thought about, because I'm interested in my background, because all of us Americans are like way too interbred to know, like, no one's 100% Irish, no one's 100% African. It's like, what else is involved? What's in the mix here? Who else do I have in me? And then I started hearing about cops getting warrants and the feds getting warrants to not just find the DNA of the suspect, they were getting back doors to like a cousin, getting the cousin's 23andMe and solving crime. And I was like, wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the way this is going because I don't 100% trust the federal government and I don't trust them not to use this against people. So here we go. Report from NBC News through Law Enforcement Today. Ashkenazi Jewish ancestry who have been used the genetic testing 23andMe may have had their data leaked and shared all over the internet thanks to hackers. About half of all Jewish people are of Ashkenazi descent, meaning their ancestors hailed from Central or Eastern Europe. So the database says on several dark web forums they found it has a list of 999,000 people who supposedly used 23andMe. Tons of sensitive information. The database is labeled Ashkenazi DNA data of celebrities. However, according to NBS News, is that a typo? NBS News, most of the people in the database are not famous. Pretty freaky. Like they're they're collecting one particular group's information. 23andMe rebutted that by saying, actually, like they didn't breach our system. They went like user end. They breached a bunch of their user accounts and got in for people who were, because when you join, it connects you to a vast network of people who share your bloodline. And you can, if they chose to allow it, you can contact them. So they're saying, 23andMe is saying, no, they didn't breach our database. They breached the user end. But what's the difference? What kind of security do you have here? It's like they're still getting into your system and they're collecting the information.
So where is the user end housed?
I don't know. It's like when you log in for your bank, they must have got their username and passwords and they get into their personal accounts and put it together.
For 900, they're saying for 999,000 people, they access their individual logins, not associated with the actual site that they had the service with that provided the login to that service.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's not cool.
That does not make sense. And plus, in light of the recent events in Israel, this is not a good thing. I mean, why would they just targeting this Ashkenazi group of DNAs?
Yeah, a lot of questions here. Not good. I'm not doing it. Although I'm incredibly curious. And I know people have done it. They thought it was really cool. There was a guy in LAPD backgrounds, a lieutenant that had done it, and he found a cousin like living in LA, like a first cousin. Oh. And like he like made a great connection through it. But I'm too paranoid to do it. So that's going on with 23andMe, Ken. If you've already done it, then oh well, nothing can be done. But if you haven't, don't do it, man. Do it. This next one's fun and light, and then the last big one, and then we're out of here because Ken's got to go.
Gotta go.
Roman Empire.
How often do I think about the Roman Empire?
Yeah.
Such a dumb question.
Consistently.
You're kidding.
No.
Like how many?
Because I'm big into martial arts.
No, but like, how often?
How often?
Yeah. Do you think about the Roman Empire?
Like a number weekly?
You think about it weekly?
For sure.
He's like a jack dude in like gym clothes. Looks like he does like jujitsu.
I think about like walking into the Coliseum. It's like if this is a fight to the death and people are around and cheering, like I have to win. I think about it constantly.
All right, Ken. Is this fake news? Because I saw this trend, and I was like, I literally don't think about the Roman Empire at all. I mean, it's connected to a lot of stuff. So, like, if you really think about it, like, yeah, okay, a lot of stuff is brought over from Rome to America. Like, it was one of the biggest empires in world history. But I think this is a way for men. I feel like men are saying it to make themselves like more manly. Like, oh yeah, I think about the Romans all the time. Gladiators, man. Of course I do. Wish I was a Roman, you know? I think it's fake and it's annoying. And I only put it in there because it's all over my feed about how often men think about Romans. Do you think about the Roman Empire?
No, because they ceased to exist.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I just wanted to run it by you because I think it's fake. And it's one of these trends that's been pumped up, and it's like and a lot of the videos seem fake. You know, the guy's perfectly framed. He's going to the gym. It's like, come on.
I mean, I've known you for many a year, and we used to hang out with really macho retired cops and backgrounds, and not once did we talk about the Roman Empire.
Yeah, remember the time we built like a mini Coliseum? We all tried to kill each other. Chariots of fire.
Yeah. I don't think that's a thing. I don't know you would talk about that. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. That one's over. That one's done. Okay, this one's good, and we just have to get through it, Ken, because it's so friggin' weird. Australian woman Erin Patterson poisoned the crap out of a dinner party that she had at her house. She poisoned
Why would you do that?
her in-laws. So 3 people have died and a 4th person is fighting for their life. An Australian woman allegedly cooked a meal that authorities believe contained poisonous mushrooms. The mushrooms were called death cap mushrooms. So obviously bad mushroom. So the thing about this is she cooks this dinner party. This was a church mediated meeting between her separated husband, her 2 children initially, they thought, and like 3 or 4 in-laws. And it was about like visitation on all these other things. So her, the 2 kids, and the estranged husband and his family. So they leave the dinner party. 3 of the people get hospitalized and die. One of them's like on life support. The 2 kids, initially they said didn't eat the same meal, but they just weren't there. They were at a movie. And when they came home, they did eat the same meal, but she said she scraped the mushrooms off because they don't like them. It was beef Wellington with lots of mushrooms. The woman then, she ate the meal. She's fine. So the 2 kids and her, fine. Everybody else dying. So she tells investigators that she had dehydrated some of the mushrooms. And they said, okay, where's the dehydrator? Because we can get the poison off that and we can look at the mushroom. Then she tells them, oh, I lied. I don't have a dehydrator, or I don't have it. Okay, so now she's lied, but she said, I was in a panic. I was at the hospital when you called, and I was just trying to be agreeable, whatever she said. So it kind of seems like, okay, was this an accident, or were you trying to kill people? Because she tells the authorities also, well, I used some old mushrooms I had. I bought in an Asian market and then some from the local grocery store. When asked what grocery store or what market, she doesn't remember, or she can't tell them, right? This woman, by the way, is not under arrest. She's at her house comfortably in Australia right now as we speak.
Oh, my.
So with all that, let's watch the video, and then I have a little bit more for you afterwards. They confront, the media confronts her.
Can you tell us about the meal that you cooked?
I'm so devastated by what's happened, by the loss of Don. Don is still in hospital, the loss of Ian and Heather and Gail, who were some of the best people that I've ever met. Gail was
She's
like,
not really crying.
No. She never should have talked to the press. Is she nuts?
The mum that I didn't have because my mum passed
she's so
away
faking
4
it.
years ago. And Gail's never been anything but good and kind to me.
Mm-hmm.
And Ian and Heather were some of the best people I've ever met. They never did anything wrong to me, and I'm so devastated about what's happened.
Can you tell us
And
a
the
bit?
loss to the community.
Academy Award performance.
And to the families.
Morgan Fairchild
My
over
own
here.
Children have lost their grandmother.
Can you tell us a bit more about the lunch?
The lunch?
It was delicious.
What I can tell you is that I just can't fathom what has happened. I just can't fathom what has
Why
happened.
isn't everyone dead?
That Ian
How
and
could have
Heather
I failed
lost
so
their lives,
badly?
And Gail has lost her life, and Donna's still in hospital, and I pray.
Oh,
I pray
boy.
that he pulls through.
This is
because
painful,
my
Steve.
Children love him.
And you must be pretty shaken up by this as well.
They're
I'm
so polite.
devastated. I love them.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that this has happened, and I'm so sorry
Oh, don't
that
charge
they
me.
have
Look,
lost their lives.
look, Steve.
She's sorry.
She's sorry.
I
Dang
just
it.
can't believe it.
Oh, stop.
Just
Stop
can't believe
not
it.
buying this. There's no tears.
Can you tell us where the mushrooms came from?
Came from?
Can you tell
Yeah,
us
where
where the
would you
mushrooms
get-
came from?
Where would you get poisoned mushrooms, anyways? They're poisonous.
Well, I'll tell you. She is also an expert forager of mushrooms.
What?
It's a pastime of hers.
Leave me alone.
So, wouldn't you think if you're an expert forager of mushrooms, you would know not to give people death cap mushrooms? But the best part of this thing, as the investigation has dragged on, there was a past illness in the estranged husband's life, which he shared. He said, so the paper says, yet in another twist to the saga, it has now emerged that Aaron's estranged husband also reportedly once suffered a mysterious illness after eating his wife's food. Aaron and Simon Patterson separated amicably after living apart for several years, according to investigators. But a mysterious illness he suffered in 2022 is now forming part of the investigation into the poisoning. Back in 2022, Simon allegedly spent 16 days in an induced coma after eating a meal from his wife.
It was really bad. You should not have cooked those past the expiration date because now I'm in an induced coma.
Did you look at the package? I mean,
the date is a week off.
What does it take in Australia to get bracelets on? It's like, my goodness, death cap.
They would probably, but she was crying.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
And there used to be a statistic. You used to be able to Google it, and it was the top 10 reasons for people. The top most stresses in a marriage in a year, and it was in-laws. But this lady is taking it to a way different. I really don't like you in my life, and she killed them.
Well, she's been listening to some tapes. She wants to get rid of the stress in her life.
Oh, so she's still not arrested yet, huh?
As far as I know, it's Australia, so I don't really have too much updated stuff. But that wasn't that long ago, and she still was living in her house. She says very hard to live in her community because everybody's ostracized her. You think? Because they're terrified of you.
I brought you some mushrooms.
Right, have a nibble,
neighbor.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think so.
Few comments here. Let's see. Kyler Klein, past guest, love the show. Love you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. And Patrick Joseph. Steve, what's going on, Patrick? Thanks.
Just Steve? Just Steve?
I know. I can't see his face clearly enough to know if I know him like in person or if he just likes the show. But thank you, Patrick. I appreciate it.
I got to tell you, Steve, I am tired of coming on the show and being eye candy. All I am is eye candy. That's the only reason you bring me on here. Gosh.
Well, God made you the way you are. He put those molecules together perfectly. Can't blame him. Ken, let's wrap this up so you can get to your next gig. Where can the people find you?
I am for police applicant consultations, policebackground.net. And if you are curious if you can get hired, if you want to be coached and have a consultation for your police application, go there. Also, you can find me and my crew at the Police Applicant Podcast. Spotify is our best platform, also on Apple Podcasts. But the Police Applicant Podcast, we're going into season 4 in January. That's exciting, and we have we've got close to, I think we're closing in on maybe 150,000, maybe a little over 150,000 downloads.
Yeah, baby.
So your 1.5 million downloads pales in comparison to me, but still.
I love it, man. Excellent. It's a great podcast. You guys should check it out. And Ken also has all kinds of interesting people on there. You do lives a lot. You have people from the LA area come on, talk about current events. You've had a well-known journalist on there you're doing a series with. So it's a lot of fun. I watch it. I love it. So go check that out, guys. For me, it's thingspolicec.com. It's on Instagram, Facebook, the website. And mostly, if you want to be a guest for the show, I really need guests. I'd love you to come on. Just go thingspolicec.com, scroll down, be a guest, or just write me a direct message at steve@thingspolicec.com. But that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for stopping by.